In this movie, we will see the mechanical contractions of the heart and how they are orchestrated by the autorhythmic activity of the sinoatrial and atrial ventricular nodes. The heart is nothing more than a big ball of muscle about the size of a fist whose job it is to pump blood throughout the body. The heart is divided into a right side and a left side. The right side receives deoxygenated blood from the veins, shown in blue, while the left side receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and is shown in red. The blue deoxygenated blood returns to the heart after circulating through the body. The right side of the heart is composed of the right atrium and the right ventricle. After collecting the deoxygenated blood, the right ventricle then pumps it to the lungs by way of the pulmonary artery. The lungs then refresh the blood with a supply of oxygen, making the blood turn red. The left atrium then receives the blood from the lungs. The oxygenated blood is then pumped from the left atrium into the left ventricle. The left ventricle then pumps the oxygenated blood into the aorta and to the rest of the body. The beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxation is called diastole. During systole, the ventricles contract, pumping blood into the pulmonary artery and into the aorta. The ventricles then relax during diastole and fill with blood from the upper chambers, that is, the left and right atria. The cycle then repeats. But the heart also has a specialized set of fibers that act as pacemakers, which initiate the contractions in both the atria and then in the ventricles. Here is a somewhat different view of the heart. The right atrium and ventricle are labeled, as are the left atrium and ventricle. The important feature of the figure is the sinoatrial, also known as the SA node, shown at the top left. This is a specialized group of muscle fibers that have been modified so they no longer contract, but rather produce action potentials automatically, without neural innervation. The action potentials produced by the SA node then activate the atrial muscle fibers. The purple lightning-like rod emanating from the SA node indicates that spread of activity. Since the SA node repetitively generates action potentials, it is also known as the pacemaker of the heart. Once the action potentials spread from the atrial musculature and reach the top of the ventricles, that activity then activates the second specialized group of muscle fibers called the atrial ventricular, or AV node. The AV node is electrically connected to a group of fibers that are collectively known as the bundle of His. Those fibers conduct action potentials rapidly and distribute the electrical activity to all of the ventricular muscle fibers, thereby causing the ventricles to contract synchronously. In other words, they initiate and cause systole. Next, let's see how the entire cardiac system works in a synchronized fashion due to the repetitive activity of the SA and AV nodes. First, let's watch the sequence of events in ultra slow motion. The SA node fires. You can see it up there on the left. The AV node then fires and excites the bundle of His. A moment later, the ventricles contract. After they contract, they begin to relax as the SA node fires again. The AV node then fires again and excites the bundle of His all over again. The ventricles contract, then they relax. The sequence is repeated as the SA node fires,
The AV node fires, bundle of His is excited, and the ventricles contract. Now the events are speeded up as they occur in real time.
In this movie, we saw how the autorhythmic activity of the SA and AV nodes orchestrates the sequential contraction and relaxation of the atrial and ventricular musculature. In the next two movies, we will explore first some special features of cardiac muscle, 2, the regulation of calcium release from the sarcoplasmic reticulum and how it differs from skeletal muscle, and 3, the ion channels in cardiac muscle and in the SA and AV nodes, and how those channels create the unique electrical properties of cardiac tissue.